They're literally going with the original plan of just the original Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. I just feel it's too expected, right? And things are probably moving too much in a very predictable path, right? We have Jey Uso joining, now we have Sami Zayn joining. There needs to be some major twist. So guys, what's up? I'm back. Sorry, a couple weeks, I was a bit busy. I just moved to California. But yeah, Crown Jewel. Let's just jump into Crown Jewel and just my sort of broad views on what's going on in the WWE, my thoughts on the different stories, the different angles, and how I feel certain things should have been done. So yeah, Crown Jewel. All right, so let's just jump to the gun. The two winners of the Crown Jewel belt, Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan. So let's talk about the matches, right? Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. It was a fun match, exciting match, and the best thing about Crown Jewel is we don't know who could win, right? Because there's no repercussions in terms of storyline or whatever, so it could really just be anyone. And due to that unpredictability factor, you know, these matches were somewhat exciting, and I was looking forward to Crown Jewel because of this unpredictability factor that anyone could literally win, right? So, Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. Fun match, good match. There was a nice dynamic between both of them and Tiffany Stratton. They teased the cash-in of the Money in the Bank contract a few times, and that was interesting. It was interesting to see how they were playing around with, you know, Tiffany Stratton, you know, Nia Jax, that tension, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, that tension. Overall, the match, you know, was also exciting. There were some interesting spots. You know, we had Nia Jax, the indomitable force, Nia Jax, and then we had the sly and sneaky ways of Liv Morgan, and obviously Dom Mysterio was there as well. Ultimately, Liv Morgan wins, thanks to Dom Mysterio in a way, and the way they use the Money in the Bank contract / briefcase. That was a good match. It was a fun match. I liked the way it ended. I mean, we didn't know how it could end, right? That's what makes, like I said, this whole Crown Jewel thing interesting, because it's just a standalone match which has nothing to do with the stories. It's like a dream match, you know, every year where we'll be able to see something different, right? So Liv Morgan gets the upper hand here, heel versus heel, Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. Nice match, fun match. Now, Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. Right? Again, we don't know who's going to win, right? And we just had two extremely talented wrestlers going at it. You know, it was, again, a fun match, an exciting match. Cody Rhodes ultimately wins the match. However, Gunther, man. Oh, Gunther. Man, he is a force to reckon with. Personally, I feel, in terms of story and overall plot development, even though that has nothing to do with this match, I just felt that this could have been a time in which Cody could have lost, right? Cody could have lost because it wouldn't have, you know, affected anything, and it would make him seem human, right? He can lose every now and then. And then it makes it seem as if, hey, look, man, he could be in danger in the future. Someone could take away his actual belt away from him, right? Because he's only human. He can lose some, he can win some, right? And it just would have given the opportunity to show us something different, right? Which would be Gunther beating Cody Rhodes, the first one to beat Cody Rhodes since WrestleMania in a one-on-one match. So the WWE creative could have done that. They didn't do that. Instead, we got Cody Rhodes winning. It was a happy ending for the Saudi Arabia crowd, right? Which, I mean, I guess from a business standpoint, that's just something you got to do once in a while. But personally, I feel they could have done that a little differently. It would have been nice to see Gunther get the upper hand, even though I love Cody. It's just, I love drama. LA Knight successfully defends his United States Championship against Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, and that was a banger of a match. that was just a fun wrestling match. You know, so many good spots. It was like acrobatics. You know, they were flying all over the place. It was just exciting to see all three of them get at each other. We got Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes like a gazillion times on SmackDown. Over here, we also got a glimpse of that while, you know, LA Knight was knocked outside the ring. You know, there were times in which it was just the both of them. LA Knight made a nice little guest appearance every now and then in the ring. Ultimately, you know, each of them had an upper hand at some point during the match. Andrade had his moments, Carmelo Hayes had his moments, LA Knight had his moments, and ultimately though, LA Knight gets the upper hand and he retains his United States Championship, you know, propelling him perhaps to another level, because to win a triple threat match, they're really pushing LA Knight, and I think LA Knight deserves to be the United States champion for quite some time, you know, and they just need to keep him the United States champion for quite some time. I want, you know, Logan Paul to come back. I don't know, where is he? Is he on like a really long vacation? Where is Logan Paul? Bring Logan Paul back. I want to see another Logan Paul versus LA Knight match. I don't know, right? It just needs to happen. We had a fatal four-way tag team match for the women's championship, and long story short, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defend their titles successfully. This was another good match, just generally a good match for the women's division. Personally, I'm becoming a fan of Io Sky. You know, I just think she's fantastic. I mean, Io Sky and Kairi Sane, a great dynamic pair. You know, I think the WWE is pushing them. They were heels earlier, now they're turning into face. You know, overall, a banger match. You know, all of them had their amazing spots, each of the women. Ultimately, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill win a fatal four-way match, which is pretty big for them as well. Obviously, the WWE is pushing them. And to win a fatal four-way match, just like how LA Knight won the triple threat match, big thing, right? Overall, just a fun match. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. The match never even started. Kevin Owens just beat down Randy Orton, you know, before the match could even start. They were fighting in the ring, around the ring. The security came out. They went backstage. You know, ultimately, Kevin Owens had the upper hand here, even though there was no match. But Kevin Owens obviously is not the same full-blown heel right now. We all predicted that, you know, Randy Orton will eventually become heel as well. I guess the WWE is not doing that. They listen to the people and they just want to give people what they don't expect. But yeah, maybe Randy Orton will turn heel sometime in the future. But, you know, I thought this was interesting to not have a match and to just, you know, have an all-out brawl. You know, so this was a nice decision. I like this choice by the WWE creative to not allow the match to happen and building on this rivalry, keeping the hype on. So that was exciting. I like this match. I mean, not match, but this moment, this segment was nice, very different, something we don't expect from a PLE. You know, we expect a match, but that didn't happen here. So it's good to see these sort of twists and turns every now and then. Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed, a David versus Goliath match. Bronson Reed's built, his weight, you know, just his overall massiveness and just insanity, right? Versus the agility and the athleticism of Seth Rollins, right? So it was David versus Goliath, strong match, you know, Bronson Reed gave it his all, you know, even just knocking him down was a challenge for Seth Rollins, right? Both of them gave an amazing performance, you know. It was great to just see Seth Rollins pushing himself to just beat Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed just holding on, you know, giving it his all as well. Ultimately, Seth Rollins has the victory, and I guess that's the end of the rivalry, right? Because when Seth Rollins wins now, the good guy wins. That's the end of the rivalry. Now, Seth Rollins moves forward, Bronson Reed moves forward, or maybe Bronson Reed's gonna attack him backstage on Raw, who knows, right? But from the way the WWE works, I think this is probably the end of it. Now, new Bloodline versus old Bloodline at Crown Jewel. We had Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga going against Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso. Right, this was the type of match in which, like, the first, 5 minutes or more, it's just like silence. They're just staring each other down, you know, a few teases here and there. Then they build it up. They do this a lot during the longer matches at PLEs. We also saw that during Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. But anyways, this match happens, lots of back and forth. Roman Reigns doesn't come in right away. They build on that. Then finally Roman Reigns gets tagged in. We see a bit of tension between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. They're not really on the same page, even though they're in the same match. Ultimately, what ends up happening is that the New Bloodline wins. Solo Sikoa pins Roman Reigns. Now, let's study how this happens, right? At one point, the referee is knocked out. Jacob Fatu annihilates Roman Reigns, and then Solo Sikoa pins Roman Reigns. So now the New Bloodline have the edge. Now, I thought this would happen at Bad Blood. At Bad Blood, I thought that the New Bloodline would somehow figure out a way to win. But at Bad Blood, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, they won the match, right? And I was like, oh no, they already won. The story's over. Now, how do you build upon this? The New Bloodline seems so weak, right? Now, in this match, the New Bloodline wins. The problem with this, I feel, is that yes, it's good that they won. They have the upper hand now. The story can continue. It's just that I feel there wasn't much of a build-up in regards to Solo Sikoa. Right? Solo Sikoa pinning Roman Reigns. Just seems so far-fetched. Right? Because he lost to Cody Rhodes twice. Does Solo Sikoa seem like a dominant force that can pin Roman Reigns? Should Jacob Fatu have pinned Roman Reigns? Could they have done this differently? And also, why was the referee knocked out? Nothing illegal happened after he was knocked out, right? Jacob Fatu was part of the match. So Jacob Fatu beating down Roman Reigns, that's fine, right? Or did I miss something? They could have had a moment where, Jacob Fatu is about to pin Roman Reigns, but then he's the enforcer, right? He is Solo Sikoa's man. And we're just waiting for that turn, but ultimately then what happens is that Solo Sikoa just looks at Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu walks to the corner, and then Solo Sikoa pins Roman Reigns. Of course, after the match, the beatdown continues, and then we have Sami Zayn coming out. Now, Sami Zayn has, he hasn't really been in the mix for that long. He's been kind of in the background on Raw these days. Basically, they're literally going with the original plan of just the original Bloodline versus the New Bloodline. I just feel it's too expected, right? And things are probably moving too much in a very predictable path, right? We have Jey Uso joining, we have Sami Zayn joining. There needs to be some major twist. There needs to be some major twist, something that's unexpected. Maybe some other massive Samoan joins Solo Sikoa. I don't know, maybe something happens within the original Bloodline, just some major twist. Get The Rock involved, get some weird dynamic going on where we actually feel a threat by the New Bloodline. Yeah, they won this match. Okay, great. And maybe the original Bloodline will win the next match. It's just too much of a, the New Bloodline lost during the last PLE. They win this PLE. They're probably going to lose the next PLE. There needs to be some kind of tension, some major out-of-the-box twist, which nobody sees coming. That's what the WWE needs to do when it comes to the Bloodline storyline. Something very, very different. Solo pinning Roman Reigns like this because of, Jacob Fatu just beating up Roman Reigns. Okay, but now what? Something different. Make them feel like they could actually destroy the original Bloodline. We need to feel that risk factor, right? So overall, though, this PLE was a fun PLE in terms of matches, and segments. Overall, well packaged. They started with the Bloodline match, which was interesting. But yeah, my only critique of this PLE is that the Bloodline storyline could be handled differently with some twist, some added element, right? Some drama, in a nice, smooth build-up sort of a way. And I feel Cody Rhodes should have lost. I just personally feel Gunther should have won. Cody Rhodes needs to feel human, like he can lose. And this was the moment to do that, since the Crown Jewel Championship does not affect any storyline